I know. I ran for property appraiser, I know. Okay, now, one of the things I want you to be sure to do is fill out as many petition cards as you can tonight for the various candidates. They have to get thousands of them, and so it'll be very helpful to them. Just go around and get writer's cramp and fill them all out. Everybody needs a petition card filled out. And if you have a candidate that you've already picked out, and I'm sure they can make arrangements for you to give them a donation as well at some point, someplace. And speaking of donations, the Tea Party works off donations, and we have a couple of donation baskets in the back if you'd like to make a donation to the Tea Party so we can keep doing our work. Now, let me tell you how the format's going to go. The candidates are on the stage in the order that is on the Supervisor of Elections website. So we didn't do any preferential treatment. We lined them up exactly as how they are on the list. They're by office, and they're by alphabetical order, left to right, front to back. We're going to give each candidate up to 90 seconds to speak. We're not taking any questions from the audience. If you have any questions, when it's over, you can go back and talk to the candidates individually, ask them anything you want to ask them. Carol is going to be our timekeeper. When your 90 seconds is up, she's going to let you know. She's got a stop sign right here to hold up. 30-second warning and stop. After the candidates have spoke, you can go back to mingling and we'll go all night if you want. I don't care. All right, so with that, we'll get started with Clerk of the Court, Neil Kelly.
Thank you. My name is Neil Kelly. I'm the Clerk of the Court for Lake County. I've had the privilege of serving as your clerk since November of 2007. Our focus continues to be on fulfilling our constitutional responsibilities and focus on being a good steward of our resources and our technology resources, which are very, very critical these days, and to continue with excellent customer service. And I could continue if you would like, but I think that pretty well sums it up. Thank you.
All right, our next candidate is Sheriff Gary Borders.
Neil, don't step on me. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gary Borders, and I'm honored to serve you as the sheriff here in Lake County. As most of you know, I was appointed in 2006 by Governor Jeb Bush and then ran for office in 2008 and 2012. I'm honored to be able to represent the 700 men and women that are out there every day protecting you. I'm honored to see that you support law enforcement. And it's great to live in this county when everything you see in this country. And so I just want to thank you for you supporting the men and women that are out there serving. We are an accredited agency, both on the law enforcement side and on the corrections side. And we're proud to say that we've seen a decrease in the overall crime rate in Lake County for 4 straight years. And I would tell you that's to the dedication of our citizens and to our men and women that are out there serving every day. Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me to work for you.
Also running for sheriff is Andre Obregon Jr.
How you doing? My name is Andre Obregon. I'm running for sheriff simply because I want to make a difference. My law enforcement experience is in local, federal, and international level. I've completed several missions throughout the world, law enforcement missions. I'm an anti-terrorism instructor, and I feel that the problem is crime doesn't start and end at the county line. I think that with the problems we're having nationally and internationally, it's bound to come here to Lake County one day. We have large communities that are easy targets, they're soft targets, and we need to address all of that. I want to be able to train the men and women of the Sheriff's Department with the proper equipment and the proper training that it takes. A lot of the local training is completely different than what terrorism training really is. I watch TV sometimes and I hear a sheriff or a police chief make a comment about my men and my women are out being vigilant. They're looking at what's out of the ordinary. Let me tell you something. In terrorism, it's the ordinary that's going to take you out. And we need to be prepared for that. We need the right training. And I guess my time's up. Thank you.
And our final sheriff candidate is Daniel Sales.
Well, good evening and thanks for coming out. Unlike the other candidates, I brought a few notes because I was told I had 30 seconds and I wanted to be everything I could be in this. I'm not going to tell you about what I think necessarily Lake County needs tonight. I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis about me. I'm not a politician, believe it or not. I'll dispute that. But I'm going to run like one for 6 months. But what I am is a public servant. I joined the law enforcement arena in 1971, and I just retired in 2015. 44 consecutive years in law enforcement. Before that, I was in the military, the United States Air Force, and the Ohio Air National Guard. I got 2 honorable discharges. I'm a leader, and I'm for change, and I'm not for the status quo. I believe that if you vote for Dan Sells, you have 44 years of strength behind the badge, period. I'm against political correctness. I'm for term limits. I don't believe any office holder should be more than 2 terms, no matter what the years are in it. I ask for your vote on August 30th in the primary, and if you would sign my petition, I would appreciate it. Best of health, and thank you.
Okay, the next office is property appraiser. Carrie Baker, the current incumbent property appraiser, could not be with us tonight. So speaking on his behalf is Peter Peoples, who is the real property manager for the property appraiser's office.
Hi, I am Gary Baker. So anyway, what I want to let you know is Mr. Baker's been in the office now for 3 years. He's running again, and he has done a tremendous job with improving our capability of doing our jobs, as well as providing customer service. He has improved it by embracing technology and adding things to the office that would help customers, including e-filing for homestead exemption, which we never had. That makes it easier. We now have up to 70% of people filing for homestead online. And so improving our GIS capabilities for anybody that uses it, including commercial use for realtors and such. And recently we've just won the International Award for 2015 for Public Information Award. And that's an international award only given out one every year. So that was a big achievement for the office, and that was done by Mr. Baker. So I just want to let you know that he is doing a good job, working hard for you. Okay.
First, let me thank the North End Tea Party and also the Lake Federated Republican Women's Club for hosting us. My name is Bob McKee, or more commonly known around here as the guy who takes your checks. I have had the good fortune that you have allowed me the privilege of serving you for the past 19 years. During that 19-year period, my focus has been in my office threefold. One is fiscal accountability, systems management, and customer service. In those first 2 areas, we have time and time again been recognized, received recognition statewide for our levels of proficiency. In terms of customer service, I believe, at the risk of sounding less than humble, I believe that we have constantly met or exceeded your expectations. But most of you have had occasion to be in our offices, and I'll let you be the judge of that. The thing of which I am most proud and most accomplished in my time in office is the team of men and women that we have assembled to serve you. I have time and time again people say to me, your customer service is outstanding. What do you do to instill that in your folks? And the answer is simple, I do nothing. These people come to us for jobs with servants' hearts, and I believe it's essential. They believe, as I believe, that public service is a noble calling, and we're grateful the day does not go by where we lose sight of for whom we work. I hope I've earned your confidence over the past 19 years, and I hope you'll allow me the privilege of continuing to serve you. Thank you very much.
Hang on one second, Margie. Okay, we're going to move to the next office, Supervisor of Elections. And up first, we have Margie Eaton.
My name is Margie Eaton. I am running for Supervisor of Elections. I want to thank the Lake Federated Republican Women's Club and the Tea Party for hosting this, because I think it's absolutely important that people get out and know and find out who the candidates are. I have lived in Lake County for 44 years, and although I don't have an old family from Lake County, I have a great family, and they all live in Lake County. We support the community the best that we can, and we're very, humility is a huge thing with me, and we try not to go around and brag what we do, and I think that's an attribute that people have to look at in their leaders. What I want to do for the office most is bring it up to date. You know, we have social media that we're not using, and we're going to lose a lot of the younger generation. It is what they do. They are always on their phones, as we know, and we've got to get out and get them involved. We need to update the website, and we need to, I think, try to help the candidates a little bit more, maybe have workshops, things like that, things where we can help the community and serve the people who pay our paycheck. And to me, that's extremely important, is to always, like Mr. Mickey said, always remember who we work for. So I would appreciate your support. If you have any questions at all, I'm right at the back there, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Thank you very much. God bless.
Okay, up next is Christopher.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to see everyone out here. It's a great turnout. I'd like to start off. I have a computer science degree from UCF. I've lived here my entire life. We're getting to the point in our election systems where everything is getting computerized. We're running our ballots through computers. Some people are even voting directly on computers. It's getting to where we need to make sure that our voting machines are safe, up to the latest and greatest standards for security and safety, that we can make sure that our elections are not going to be compromised. And with a background in computer science, I think that is an extremely tough task, and not one to be put on the next supervisor lightly. I have 2 kids. I live in Leesburg with my wife, who is a county school teacher. It is important to me that their elections, that they will participate in the, quite distant future, that they are going to be as fair and as secure as they have been in the past. It's extremely important, and I hope to talk to everyone. We're in the back, so thank you.
Okay, the next candidate that we have for supervisor elections is Senator Alan Hayes. He cannot be with us tonight. He's in Tallahassee. And standing in for him tonight is his wife, Jeannie.
And I have a recorded message from Alan. So let's see if our technology works.
Thank you for selecting this evening to invest in the future of our country. I would love to be here, but my legislative responsibilities require me to be in Tallahassee. I'm seeking your support to become your next supervisor of elections. I've enjoyed my 12 years of public service in the legislature, and I wish to continue serving the wonderful people of Lake County in this new role. The supervisor's position is just what the title says it is, a supervisory or administrative position of leadership. My decades of private business ownership and legislative leadership roles have provided me with the experience of leading teams of successful people for many years. My goals as your supervisor are quite simple but vitally important. First, I want to make sure we have accurate elections. This is accomplished by making sure you have a properly trained team of full-time staff and temporary poll workers. Election days don't just happen, they are planned for months in advance and executed according to plan. Next, I want to make sure our citizens receive excellent service. This begins with being greeted in person, on the phone, or on the internet with professional courtesy and efficiency. Third, the supervisor must be fiscally responsible. As the chairman of an appropriations committee whose total budget exceeds $5 billion for 8 of my 12 years as a legislator, I'm experienced in managing the budgets of 18 separate government agencies. My fourth but highly important goal is voter confidence. Each voter needs to know their vote is being County to every port in Packard. Thank you for your consideration and support.
All right, that's pretty good timing. You can just keep it there. We got mics for each row. Okay, the next candidate that we have for supervisor of elections is Michael Holland. He's not with us this evening, and standing in for him is Tim Totten.
And I don't have any pressure because I'm not running for anything, so that's pretty easy. Michael Holland has been elected twice as city commissioner in Eustis. He's serving out his last term as mayor, and that's where he is tonight, doing the important work for the people of the city of Eustis at a regularly scheduled city commission meeting. He'll try to get here a little later on, hopefully, if he can. Some of the things you may not know about Michael, specifically that he's a third-generation Lake County resident. He's lived here, he was born and raised here. And his long career in funeral service, he spent over 20 years with the largest funeral home company in the world. What I'm hearing a lot of when I talk to my friends about this election cycle is that things are broken and we need to fix them. Things need to be brought up to date. Michael's, I worked for that same company, and there he was known as the fixer. His job was to go into funeral homes that were about literally to die. And he would take funeral homes that had 40, I know it's a little pun, we've heard it before. He would go into funeral homes that were doing 40 or 50 funerals a year and turn them around. And he did that by engaging his community, the leaders within his community. And I'll give you one good example. The last big funeral home he worked for before coming back to Lake County to work for a small family funeral home was doing 40 calls a year. In a couple of years, he turned that around to 300 funerals a year. The building they were about to tear down turned into a parking lot, was replaced with a $4 million building. They added $1 million to the cemetery. When he left, he was doing $14 million in revenue with 25 employees. I personally think that qualifies him to run an office the size of the supervisor of elections. But the other reason is this. As a funeral director, you get one chance to do your job correctly. You can't say, let's meet tomorrow and do this funeral again. You certainly can't say, let's get together the third Tuesday in November and do this election all over again. So I hope you'll vote for somebody who is kind and compassionate and is working for his community. Thank you for your time.
And we have one last candidate for supervisor elections, Scott Larson.
Hi, my name is Scott Larson. I'm a no-party affiliated candidate that's running for the supervisor of elections. I have been serving Lake County for about 10 years. I started off with the University of Central Florida and introducing Direct Connect to UCF into Lake County. I was the very first person working in Direct Connect to UCF, which has helped provide college, bachelor, university access to hundreds of students that may not have had it. You may also know me or be familiar with me based on some advocacy work I've done for children. As many people know, about 4,000 children lost school buses, including my son. And when that happened, I did take to the internet and I made a promise to a room full of people about this size that I wouldn't stop fighting until every bus came running home and every child was safe. I no longer run the page or blog anymore, and it did get intense, but that's okay because every elementary school now has a safe passage to school, and we're working on sidewalks and all that. I want to talk about three things real quick. I'm getting my 30 seconds. Fairness, integrity, and transparency. I believe that this office is the only office that partisanship should not exist. And I have never been a member of either major party, and I never will be a member of either major party because I am a true independent and I will be fair to everybody. Transparency, I believe in the sunshine standard. I'll come to my website, larsonforlake.com. Thank you.
All right, we're going to switch gears now, start with county commission races. And we're going to start with District 1, and first up is Mayor Laux from Groveland.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Tim Laux, running for Lake County Commission District 1. I'll start a little with about myself. I served in Groveland City Council since 2010 and now as Groveland's mayor for the past 3 years. I retired from Reedy Creek Energy Services in 2015 after 27 years of service in the Water Resource Division. In 2010, I co-founded the South Lake Regional Water Initiative, a collaborative effort with 5 cities in South Lake County, ensuring South Lake with a sustainable and affordable water source through 2035. In 2012 through 2015, I led the path to growth and received in excess of $4 million in cost share grants from the St. Johns River Water Management. This constituted over $12 million in reclaimed water improvements and set an all-time record for cost share grants in the city of Groveland. I'm a member of several civic organizations, way too numerous to list tonight at the time allotted. Under my leadership in 2014 and 15, the city of Groveland achieved the honor of being ranked #1 in growth in Lake County. This growth, coupled with a forward-thinking and smart growth philosophy, allowed Groveland to maintain one of the lowest property rates in Lake County. If elected to Lake County Commission, District 1, I intend to practice the same philosophy. To continue my practice of proven success philosophy in property taxes. The government must embrace the reality of the current economy we live in and decrease government spending through forward planning and practice smart growth. We should not allow county government to ask for additional increases in property taxes until they exhibit minimal. There is another page, but I'm not going to be able to.
All right, and now we have the incumbent county commissioner for District 1, Tim Sullivan.
For those of you who don't know me, I am Tim Sullivan. I'm seeking your support to remain your county commissioner in District 1. I have 33 years of military experience and 34 years of business experience. I know rules and regulations inside and out, and I live by them each and every day that I exist. As we move forward, I totally believe that government has to be fiscally responsible with your taxpayer dollars, and I live that each and every day at carrying out the duties of the county commissioner. I also believe in conservative values, and I carry those out. And if you don't believe either one of those statements, just go and look at my voting record over the past 3.5 years, and you'll find that to be true. So I seek your support to keep the position of a county commissioner in District 1. Please visit my booth, sign my petitions, and I hope that you will support me when it comes to election day to be your county commissioner in District 1.
Now we're going to switch to County Commission District 3, and we have Wendy Breeden.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Wendy Breeden. I'm running for County Commissioner District 3. I'm running because the citizens of Lake County, including myself, are tired of politicians who think they're better than the people they're elected to serve. I know we can do better. We can do better with fresh ideas and new approaches. New people and new ideas are good for the county and good for government. In fact, I would pledge not to serve more than 2 terms or 8 years. We can do better by restoring professionalism, integrity, and civility to the District 3 seat. No one should have to feel intimidated at a meeting of their own county government. I say that treating every person with genuine kindness and respect is an asset, not a liability. I grew up in Lake County, and I know our values: honesty, hard work, and respect. When you give your word, you keep your word. And economic development depends on trust and stability. And for Lake County's local economy to truly flourish, we need to restore both. So with your help, I know we can do better.
And we have Jimmy Connor, the current incumbent commissioner for District 3.
Well, I asked my wife, I said, how am I going to tell everybody how great I am in 90 seconds? She said, you don't need that long. This is what I brought to the County Commission in 2008. We have drastically cut our budget. I couldn't be prouder. You look over here and you see that our general fund, our property tax revenues today, and we've been through the worst recession since the Great Depression, And I would encourage everyone in here to go to laketax.com and compare what you were paying in property taxes in 2008 to now. We drastically have cut county government. Commissioner Cadwell, thank you for your leadership and your help. You've been wonderful. And the sheriff, find me another sheriff in Lake County that are in the state of Florida that cuts his budget 3 years in a row. But it's been a team effort. And I'll tell you, it's been hard to do. But we've done it. We even tried to close a library in Sorrento, Mount Plymouth. Well, that didn't work. Of course, Commissioner Cadwell, he supported closing the library, and I asked him why. He said, well, I don't check out books, but I think I will when I learn to read. But anyway, I love the guy. But this here says, this is what my campaign is all about. I promised in 2008 that I was going to cut spending, and that's what we've done. 8 years later, if you'd have told me that we could accomplish this, I would have never believed it. One more thing I read this week. How do you stop Donald Trump? With a cruise missile.
All right, County Commission District 5. Up first is Josh Blake.
Good evening. My name is Josh Blake, and I am currently running for the Lake County Commission District 5 seat. The last 8 years, I've been a legislative aide in the Florida House of Representatives, representing District 33, which is actually portions of Lake Sumter and Marion County. My wife Jackie is here with me tonight. We live in Lady Lake, Florida. And I'm running for office because, like many of you, the last 8 years have been very frustrating. And I can't tell you how many times I've watched the news, watched Fox News at night, and I've pointed my finger saying, you know, we send these guys to Washington, D.C. to be conservative Republicans, and the instant they get up there, something happens. Potomac fever, right? Something happens and they change. And, you know, 2 years ago when taxes went up in Lake County the way they did, as you are all aware, that was a wake-up call for me, and I realized that we needed a fiscal conservative on our county commission here. And in 1993, Ronald Reagan wrote an op-ed in the New York Times, and believe it or not, they published it, the New York Times. And he said this, he said, the problem we have in D.C., in this country, is that we fundamentally misunderstand the problem. The problem is not that the people are not taxed enough. The problem is that the government spends too much. And that's why I'm running, and I would appreciate your support.
All right, and then we have the current incumbent District 5 Commissioner, Walton Cadwell.
Thank you, Walter. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to come out tonight. You've given me an opportunity and a privilege to serve for you for a long time. And during that time, I've had a lot of opportunities to make a lot of votes. And every time I make those votes, I don't make them in a vacuum. And I've never taken the service that you've allowed me to do for granted. My family, I honestly believe, mirrors a lot of families in Lake County. My wife and I have 4 kids. Now we have 4 grandkids. And they all live here. They all make a living in Lake County. So the votes that I take, I think about them and I think about how it's going to affect them and how it's going to affect you. And I just need you, if you would, to continue to support me and help me bring a common sense, level-headed leadership to the County Commission. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the county judge race, and I have to make an announcement that none of the judge candidates are affiliated with the Lake Federated Republican Women's Club or the North Lake Tea Party, because the judges have very strict rules they have to follow when they're out like this. And we're going to start with Ben Boylston.
I'd first like to talk about why I want this position, because that's the most important thing you need to know from a candidate. You reach a certain point in your life and you start to ask yourself hard questions like, when it's all said and done, will I have contributed something meaningful to my community and to my profession? And sometimes people don't ask themselves that question until it's too late to do anything about the answer. I am very blessed that my father, Richard Boylston, helped me to think about this question at an early enough age where I can do something about the answer. He served as county judge for 20 years, and before he passed away, I saw a man who had taken stock of his life and had asked himself that same question I just talked about, and was very confident of his answer, because he knew that he made a difference. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm running because one day, I too want to be able to say that I made that kind of difference myself, in my own life and in my own career. And county judge is such a special job. It is such a special job. There are so many opportunities every day to help people in their lives. by approaching the job with fairness, with respect for the law, with humility. I mention humility last, but it's not least. Humility is the most important quality for a judge. It takes humility to understand that you don't get to rewrite the law using your power. You don't get to rewrite the law just because it suits your personal preferences. You don't get to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, my qualifications bring me to a point where I can ask for your vote. I hope that I earn your vote this August. Thank you very much.
All right, and now we have Jonathan Olson.
Thank you very much for having me, and I'd like to thank the volunteers and thank my mom and dad for having me, and thank the Lord that I'm in a country where the son of a farmer and a secretary can run for a judicial office. I'm a criminal attorney running for a criminal office that Judge Miller is leaving. I've been working for criminal law for over 20 years, currently an assistant state attorney working with the Honorable Brad King. I'm currently a docket manager, which means I handle gun crimes, career criminals, DUI manslaughter, as well as supervise other attorneys in the office. I've handled, prosecuted thousands of cases and handled hundreds of trials, from traffic tickets all the way up to murder charges. I want to use this experience for you, all of the citizens in Lake County. I've seen the ravages of crime, not only on the victims, but on the public. Not only the scars that are on the victims, but the financial burdens that you bear to try to keep crime in line. Ladies and gentlemen, when you vote for Jonathan Olson on August 30th, you're voting for a candidate who will be ready on day one, who knows the policies and procedures capable of doing the job that you're needing a county judge to do. I want to thank you and hope that I've earned your vote. Thank you.
Okay, now we have Carrie Rada.
Hi, I'm Carrie Rada, candidate for Lake County Judge. I'm running for the seat that's being vacated by Judge Donna Miller. I have been an attorney in Lake County for over 20 years now. I served as an assistant state attorney from 1995 to 2003. I was actually one of the first prosecutors assigned to Judge Miller's courtroom, and I served there for 2.5 years. Thereafter, I was promoted to a felony position in the state attorney's office. When I left the state attorney's office in 2003, I sat for and passed the board certification examination. I'm a board certified criminal trial lawyer. I handle all types of criminal cases from DUIs to homicides. I've handled numerous jury trials over the years. I have filed appeals in the appellate courts throughout the state of Florida, in the Florida Supreme Court, in the federal courts in the Middle District of Florida, and also the 11th Circuit just below the United States Supreme Court. In May of 2000, I was awarded the Mary Brogan Courage Award by Lieutenant Governor Frank Brogan. I've been blessed to raise 5 wonderful children in our great county with my wife, Brandy. 2 of those children are now in college. One is an 11th grader at Eustis High School, one is in 10th grade at Eustis High, and my youngest, Ethan, is a 6th grader at Eustis Middle School. I would be honored to serve as your county judge. Thank you for your time today.
Now, next up is Judy Stewart.
Hi, good evening. As you can see, I'm the only female running for this position, and I would love to be your next county court judge. I am running on what I call 3 L's, and I think that all 3 of those are necessary to be well-rounded to be a judge, and that is legal experience, life experience, and level-headedness. I have worked for an attorney for 17 years prior to going to law school. He encouraged me to go back to school. I started at 33 years old with a 3-year-old daughter as a single mom. It took me 11 years part-time and full-time law school, but I did it. I got it done. I opened my practice in 2009, and my life experiences, my legal experiences, I've worked at the Public Defender's Office. I won my first trial as an intern at the Public Defender's Office before I became an attorney. I've been in the system here since 1988. I have a husband, an adult daughter, a dog, an office cat, a grandpuppy, and I just found out that I'm going to be a grandmother. So I hope that you'll check out my website. It's votejudystewart.com. Learn a little bit more about who I am, my experiences, and I'd love to serve. And I've volunteer with Lake County and in many different aspects. I want to continue to give back to the community, so please check out my website. If you have questions and I'm able to answer them, please call me.
And our last judge candidate is Brian Wilkie.
Well, thank you for inviting us here tonight. Now everybody can be informed, so when I get a call this August and somebody says, hey Brian, what judge should I vote for, I'll be able to tell them. So, but, first and foremost, I'm running for county court judge to serve the people of Lake County, and I know if I'm elected, I will make a difference. For virtually my entire adult life, I've spent my time in service and volunteering and working to make other people's lives better, and that's not just talk. My 4 summers of high school here in Lake County, I was a camp counselor at Camp Challenge, Easter Seals Camp in Sorrento. I served 4 years in the Army. I am on the board of directors of several not-for-profits that benefit veterans and the needy. I give my time freely doing pro bono work for the indigent, veterans, the pregnant women of Life's Choices in Eustis. And I'm most proud that I participated in placing over 400 children in adoptive homes through my practice. It's also important to me that when you walk into a courtroom, you get due process, and that's being heard. And I believe I do have a reputation of being patient and reasonable. I'm courteous, respectful, and civil to everybody I deal with, and if I'm elected, I'm committed to bringing that to the courtroom. I again thank you for being here, and I ask you for your support in August. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to switch gears again, and now we're going to start with candidates for the school board. And up first is Christy Burns.
Thank you for having me here today. My name is Dr. Christy Burns. I'm running for school board in District 2. I'm a mom of 4 young children, all of which will be educated in the Lake County school system, just like I was. I'm also a doctor of biochemistry. I'm running for school board because I want to improve our schools. The school board is elected to run our school system, not the other way around. You don't need a board that rubber stamps the superintendent's decisions. You need to trust your school board member will be accountable to you to spend your hard-earned tax dollars the best way possible. You can trust that I will bring real accountability to the school board. As a mom with a son in public school, I'm in touch with the issues affecting our children and grandchildren. Our kids are being over-tested but under-educated. Testing is an enormous waste of taxpayer money. That's why I started a local watchdog group to reduce over-testing and return meaningful education to our schools. We need to get back to teaching our kids instead of teaching our kids to test. I'm a mom who does what's right for all of our children and grandchildren. When my son lost recess a year ago, I fought back locally. That changed things a little, but not for all of Lake County. So even though my son gets recess, I've been working on a statewide legislation with Senator Hayes to get recess back for all of Florida. This is why you want me on the school board. You want the very best schools for our children, grandchildren, and our communities. You need a school board member that you can be accountable to you. Someone who is in touch with the issues and is committed to doing what is right. You need great schools to build our future and our children's future. Please see me and sign my cards and come and chat.
And also for School Board District 2, we have Pernell Mitchell.
Good evening. My name is Pernell Mitchell, and I'm a candidate for Lake County School Board District 2. But more important than that, my wife and I are parents of 7 kids who all graduated from Leesburg High School. I have 4.5 grandchildren. I said 4.5 because my daughter is pregnant with our 5th grandchild that is due in June. And I want to be able to say that all of my grandkids also graduated from Leesburg High School. The opportunity for greater economic development for Lake County is directly tied to the state of our school system. Everyone knows that a good or average school district surrounded by better districts will not and does not attract businesses to our county. Our schools should not be considered as not-for-profit organizations, but as investments. Our citizens have already invested heavily in our schools. When we extended the penny sale tax, we invested in our schools. We have one of the highest impact fees in the state of Florida. That's an investment in our schools. Our principals and administrators are some of the best paid in the state of Florida. That's an investment in our schools. We have been taxed enough already. Because of the heavy investments of our school district, we should not only expect a high rate of return, but we should demand it. Elect Purnell Mitchell to the Lake County School Board, and I will ensure a return on our investment. I will work hard to build a stronger Lake County through education. I will restore the trust of our school system. I will work hard to retain and recruit the high-quality teachers. A vote for me is an investment in our school district.
And we're going to go to School District 4. Up first is Lou. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce your last name.
It's very easy. Buigas.
Buigas, okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lou Buigas, and I am your Lake County School Board candidate for District 4. Being fiscally responsible is a priority on our school board. Fiscal responsibility will make an educated Lake County. An educated Lake County is a prosperous Lake County. I am incredibly excited and humbled by the early support and encouragement that I have been receiving in the past few weeks after I filed. I thank you for coming out this evening and meeting your 2016 candidates. Again, my name is Ms. Buigas. Thank you for coming out.
James Myers.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. My name is James Myers. I'm running for school board in District 4. My wife and I live and work in Lake County. We've been residents of Lake County for 10 years. I am a second career lawyer. I practice primarily in real estate law with Bowen and Schroth in Eustis. My wife has been working for Lake County Schools for 10 years, and she's currently the literacy coach at Mount Dora High School. And we have 2 children, a 6th grader and an 8th grader, so it means I have a teenage at the house right now, which is not fun. She's in the back right now videotaping. They both are honorable students at Mount Dora Middle School. I understand that she had a basketball game tonight and did not go so well, so please be nice. I'm running for school board because I believe that Lake County Schools needs to do a better job of pulling its weight to make Lake County a viable alternative to attract those that want to move their families and businesses here. We have the biggest budget in Lake County. I don't know if many people understand that. But I think that requires a board and a superintendent that understands that the district is A, not a taxing authority, B, is willing to live within the district's means, and C, understands that resources are better served with the teachers and students in the classrooms rather than at the district office. So I'm honored and humbled to have this opportunity to run, and I hope you will vote for me in August. Thank you.
And as they say, last but not least,
I was going to say
Joan Rintelman.
Hi, my name is Joan Rintelman. I am also running for the District 4 seat in the Lake County School District. I'm a 43-year veteran of education. I taught for 32 years in Wisconsin, and I still teach in Lake County. I taught 7 years full-time at various middle school, and I'm now a Title I tutor in the district. I've taught in rural districts, I've taught in small towns, and I've taught in urban districts, which I think uniquely qualifies me for working in Lake County because we have small towns, rural areas, and urban areas. I've worked with special education students, regular education students, and with at-risk students, and I was also an adjunct professor of education in Wisconsin. I was a mentor teacher. I worked with the AODA program for drug and alcohol abuse for my middle schoolers. And I think all of those experiences would bring me to a place on the school board where I could share and really make the school board vital for the county. I have 5 main points. First of all, I want to stop privatizing public schools. I want to stop testing and start teaching. I want to bring arts back into the classroom for all students. I want to, and I just lost one, we need to return discipline to the classroom. And if we can't get rid of Common Core, we need to use some common sense in how we administer it. For all of those reasons, I'd like to hear your input. I can change my platform depending on what you feel is important in Lake County. Thank you.
We're going to have each of the candidates go back to their tables. Feel free to ask them any questions that you like. We'll stay as long as you want, and let's give them all a big hand.